Welcome. Today we're exploring the top 5 rare United States of America Monticello 5-cent coins, each valued for different conditions, key mint marks, and special varieties that collectors are always searching for. From early Jefferson nickels and scarce low mintage issues to wartime silver compositions and beautifully preserved uncirculated examples, these Monticello 5-cent coins can sometimes be worth far more than their face value. The condition of the coin, whether it is heavily circulated, lightly worn, uncirculated, or preserved in pristine mint state, can greatly influence its collector value. Mint marks such as P, D, and S, along with special wartime large mint mark varieties and notable minting errors, also play an important role in determining rarity and demand among collectors. Let's get started. First up, the story of the 1969 Monticello 5-cent coin with the D mint mark begins as a quiet journey through everyday American life, where small coins often travel unnoticed yet carry remarkable stories behind their metal surfaces. At first glance, this nickel may appear ordinary, but to collectors and history lovers it represents a fascinating connection to the past, a reminder that even the smallest piece of currency can hold a powerful story. During the late 1960s, the United States Mint was producing millions of nickels to support a rapidly growing economy. These coins were used everywhere, from grocery stores to gas stations, from school cafeterias to city buses. The 1969 nickel was part of this enormous flow of currency that helped keep everyday transactions moving smoothly. The small letter D on the coin tells an important part of its origin story. This mint mark shows that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the major coin production facilities in the United States. The Denver Mint has been responsible for creating billions of coins that eventually travel across the nation through circulation. Before the coin received its familiar design, it began as a simple blank metal disc known as a planchet. These planchets were carefully prepared and inspected before entering powerful coining presses where the detailed images were stamped onto the surface with incredible pressure. When you examine the front of the 1969 Monticello nickel, the portrait of Thomas Jefferson immediately captures attention. Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence, has appeared on the nickel since 1938. Even in good condition, the portrait of Jefferson remains recognizable and impressive. The gentle curves of his hair, the strong profile of his face, and the thoughtful expression all reflect the skill of the original designer who created this iconic image. Above Jefferson's portrait, the word Liberty appears clearly, followed by the year 1969. This combination of text and date not only identifies the coin, but also anchors it firmly in a specific moment in American history. The inscription "In God We Trust" appears to the left of the portrait, adding a meaningful element that connects the coin to a long-standing tradition found on United States currency. Turning the coin over reveals the famous image of Monticello, the historic Virginia home designed and owned by Thomas Jefferson. This elegant building has served as the reverse design of the nickel for decades and represents Jefferson's love for architecture, knowledge, and creativity. Even in good condition, the structure of Monticello remains clear. The columns, dome, and steps leading to the entrance still display much of the architectural beauty that makes the design so recognizable. Above the building, you will see the word Monticello proudly displayed. This simple inscription identifies the historic landmark that stands at the center of the coin's reverse design. Below the image appears the phrase 5 cents, which tells us the denomination of the coin. Beneath that inscription, you can read United States of America, clearly stating the country that issued the coin. Just beside Monticello sits the small D mint mark, a subtle detail that confirms the coin's origin at the Denver Mint. For collectors, mint marks often add another layer of interest when studying coins. The 1969 nickel is made from a durable blend of metals that includes copper and nickel. This combination allows the coin to survive years of handling, spending, and circulation without losing its basic structure. Coins described as being in good condition often show moderate signs of wear from years of use. High points of the design may appear smoother, but the main features of the coin remain easy to identify. These marks and signs of use tell a story of movement and exchange. Each scratch or worn edge may represent a moment when the coin was used in everyday life. It is fascinating to imagine how many different places this coin may have visited. From busy city streets to quiet small towns, the nickel may have traveled across many states during its lifetime. Perhaps it was used to purchase a newspaper decades ago, or maybe it helped pay for a snack at a local diner during the 1970s. Coins like this quietly witness countless ordinary moments. Sometimes coins eventually settle into jars of spare change or small personal collections, where they remain unnoticed for years before someone takes a closer look. That moment of discovery can be exciting for collectors who enjoy searching through old coins, hoping to find hidden value or unique history. The Monticello nickel series has been one of the most recognizable coin designs in the United States for generations. Its simple yet elegant design has made it popular among collectors and historians alike. Each year of the series tells a slightly different story, shaped by the mint where the coin was produced and the condition in which it survived through the decades. The 1969 D nickel is a reminder of the incredible scale of American coin production. Millions were made, yet every individual coin still carries its own unique journey. Collectors often examine nickels closely to look for unusual features such as striking errors, special varieties, or exceptional condition that could increase a coin's value. The thrill of coin collecting lies in the possibility that an ordinary-looking coin could turn out to be far more valuable than anyone expected. Holding a 1969 Monticello nickel in good condition is like holding a small artifact from everyday American life decades ago. It connects the present moment with the experiences of people who lived, worked, and spent money during that era. Even though most people would only see a simple 5-cent coin when they look at it, experienced collectors understand that under the right circumstances an extraordinary example could reach the remarkable value of $45,000. Next up. The 1977 Monticello 5-cent coin with the D mint mark is a small piece of American currency that quietly carries decades of history within its metal surface. At first glance, it may look like just another nickel that once passed through pockets, wallets, and cash registers, but for collectors and history lovers, this coin tells a deeper story about American life, craftsmanship, and the fascinating world of coin collecting. During the 1970s, the United States economy relied heavily on coins like the nickel to support everyday transactions. Whether people were buying snacks from vending machines, paying for parking meters, or making small purchases in local stores, the 5-cent coin was constantly in motion throughout the country. The small letter D that appears on this coin identifies its origin at the Denver Mint. This mint facility, located in Colorado, has played a major role in producing coins for the United States since the early 20th century. Every coin struck there carries the D mint mark as a symbol of its birthplace. Before the coin received its famous design, it began its life as a simple blank disc of metal called a planchet. These planchets were created using a mixture of copper and nickel and then carefully cleaned and inspected before being sent to massive coining presses. Inside those presses, the planchet was struck with incredible pressure between two engraved dies. In a fraction of a second, the detailed images of the Monticello nickel were permanently stamped onto the metal surface. When you look closely at the front of the coin, the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson immediately stands out. Jefferson was the third president of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. His image has appeared on the nickel since 1938. Even on a circulated coin like this one, the outline of Jefferson's profile remains clear. The shape of his hair, the curve of his forehead, and the calm expression on his face reflect the artistry of the original designer who created this historic portrait. Just beside the portrait appears the word Liberty along with the year 1977. This inscription represents the ideals that have guided the United States since its founding and marks the specific year when this coin entered circulation. On the left side of the portrait you will see the phrase "In God We Trust." This short but meaningful motto has been part of American coins for generations and connects modern currency with long-standing national traditions. Turning the coin over reveals the famous reverse design that gives the Monticello nickel its name. At the center of the coin stands Monticello, the historic Virginia home that Thomas Jefferson designed and built for himself. The architecture of Monticello is beautifully captured in the coin's design. Even in circulated condition you can still see the dome of the building, the rows of columns, and the balanced structure that makes the building so recognizable. Above the image of the building appears the word Monticello, clearly identifying the landmark that serves as the centerpiece of the design. Below the building the words 5 cents mark the denomination of the coin. Beneath that inscription you will find United States of America, proudly declaring the nation that issued the coin. To the right of the building the small D mint mark appears, quietly indicating that the coin was produced in Denver. For collectors, mint marks are one of the most important details when identifying and studying coins. The Monticello nickel is composed of a strong blend of metals, primarily copper with a layer of nickel. This combination gives the coin durability, allowing it to survive years of use in circulation. Coins described as circulated often show visible signs of wear from years of handling. High points of the design may appear smoother, and small scratches or marks may be visible from the coin's long journey through everyday commerce. These signs of wear are not flaws to collectors. Instead, they represent the coin's life story, proof that it once played a role in daily transactions across the country. Imagine how many different hands this coin may have passed through since 1977. It may have traveled through busy cities, quiet towns, and countless stores, silently participating in the rhythm of everyday life. Perhaps this nickel once helped someone buy a candy bar from a small shop, or maybe it was used in an arcade machine during the late 1970s or early 1980s. Coins like this are silent witnesses to ordinary moments. They move from person to person without anyone thinking twice about them, yet each exchange becomes a small part of their history. Eventually, many coins end up in jars of spare change or small coin collections, waiting quietly until someone decides to look more closely at them. For coin collectors, this moment of discovery is exciting. A simple coin that has been sitting unnoticed for years might suddenly reveal interesting details or surprising value. The Monticello nickel series has been one of the most recognizable designs in American coinage for decades. Its connection to Thomas Jefferson and the beautiful image of Monticello make it a favorite among collectors. Each year of the series tells a slightly different story, and the 1977 D nickel represents a small but meaningful piece of American monetary history. Collectors often study coins carefully under magnification, searching for rare varieties, unusual minting errors, or exceptional condition that could make a coin more valuable. The thrill of coin collecting comes from the possibility that an ordinary coin could turn out to be extraordinary. Sometimes the smallest pieces of currency hide the most surprising stories. Holding a 1977 Monticello nickel in circulated condition is like holding a small artifact from the past, a reminder of the many places it may have traveled and the countless people who may have used it. Although most people would only see a simple 5-cent coin when they look at it, experienced collectors know that under the right circumstances a remarkable example could reach the incredible value of $45,000. Next up. The story of the 1962 Monticello 5-cent coin with a D mint mark begins with a quiet piece of American currency that once moved through countless everyday transactions across the nation. At first glance it may seem like an ordinary nickel, something many people might overlook in their pocket or spare change jar, yet behind this small coin lies a fascinating history connected to American heritage, craftsmanship, and the exciting world of coin collecting. During the early 1960s, the United States was experiencing a time of rapid growth and change. Coins played an important role in everyday life as people used them for transportation fares, vending machines, grocery purchases, and countless other small payments that kept daily life moving smoothly. The 1962 nickel was produced during this active period of American commerce, and millions of these coins entered circulation across the country. Each one carried the same design but eventually developed its own journey as it traveled from person to person through decades of use. The small letter D visible on the coin is known as the mint mark, and it tells us that this particular coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The Denver facility has been one of the most productive mints in the United States, producing enormous quantities of coins that spread throughout the nation. Before the coin ever received its design, it started as a smooth circular metal disc called a planchet. These planchets were carefully manufactured from a strong blend of copper and nickel, ensuring that the finished coins would be durable enough to survive years of circulation. Once prepared, the planchets were placed into powerful coining presses where engraved dies stamped the design onto the metal with tremendous force. In an instant, the blank metal disc was transformed into a detailed 5-cent coin. Looking closely at the front side of the coin reveals the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence, has appeared on the nickel since 1938. His portrait shows a dignified profile that reflects his importance in American history. Even in extra-fine condition, the details of Jefferson's hair, facial structure, and expression remain clear and impressive. Beside the portrait appears the word Liberty followed by the year 1962. These inscriptions not only identify the coin but also represent the ideals and historical moment connected to its creation. On the opposite side of the portrait you will see the phrase "In God We Trust." This national motto has appeared on American currency for generations and represents a long-standing tradition in the design of United States coins. Turning the coin over reveals the famous Monticello building that gives the nickel its name. Monticello was the Virginia home designed and built by Thomas Jefferson himself, and its architectural beauty made it a perfect symbol for the reverse of the coin. The structure appears with remarkable balance and symmetry, showing its famous dome and columned entrance. Even coins that have circulated for years still display the elegant shape of this historic building. Above the building appears the inscription Monticello, proudly identifying the landmark that serves as the centerpiece of the coin's reverse design. Below the image you will see the denomination written as 5 cents. Beneath that text the words United States of America appear clearly, marking the nation that produced the coin. The small D mint mark can be seen to the right side of Monticello. This tiny detail is very important to coin collectors because it reveals the mint where the coin was struck. Coins described as extra fine condition usually show only light signs of wear from circulation. The main design elements remain sharp, and most of the small details can still be seen clearly. This level of preservation allows collectors to appreciate the artistry and craftsmanship that went into creating the coin more than 60 years ago. When you hold a 1962 D nickel in your hand, you are holding a piece of American history. The coin may have passed through thousands of transactions, quietly participating in everyday life across different cities and towns. Perhaps it once helped someone buy a cup of coffee in a small diner, or maybe it was used in a jukebox playing popular music of the 1960s. Coins like this often travel incredible distances over time. They may move through banks, stores, and households before eventually settling into a jar of spare change or a collector's album. For coin enthusiasts, searching through old coins is always exciting because even common-looking pieces can sometimes hold unexpected value or historical importance. The Monticello nickel series has been loved by collectors for generations because it combines a beautiful design with a strong connection to American history. Each year in the series tells its own small story, and the 1962 D nickel represents a moment when American industry and commerce were moving forward at an incredible pace. Collectors often examine these coins carefully under magnification, searching for rare varieties, minting errors, or exceptional preservation that could increase their value dramatically. The fascinating part of coin collecting is that something small and ordinary can sometimes turn out to be extremely valuable depending on its condition and rarity. A coin that once passed casually through everyday hands can eventually become a treasured collectible admired by historians and collectors alike. Holding a 1962 Monticello 5 cents coin with a D mint mark in extra fine condition is like holding a small window into the past, reminding us of the many decades of history that have passed since it was first struck. While many people would simply see a nickel worth 5 cents, experienced collectors understand that under the right circumstances an exceptional example could reach the astonishing value of $45,000. Next up. The story of the 1976 Monticello 5 cents coin with the D mint mark begins with a simple piece of metal that once quietly moved through the everyday lives of millions of Americans. At first glance it may look like an ordinary nickel, something many people might ignore when counting spare change, yet for collectors and history lovers this small coin carries a fascinating connection to the past. During the mid-1970s, the United States was celebrating an important historical moment. The country was marking 200 years since its founding, and the spirit of history and national pride could be felt across the nation. Coins circulating during this period became small reminders of that exciting era. The 1976 nickel with the D mint mark was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the major coin production facilities in the United States. The Denver Mint has been responsible for striking billions of coins over the decades, and each coin leaving the mint carries the small D mint mark as a sign of its origin. Before this coin ever received its design, it began as a smooth round metal disc known as a planchet. These planchets were created from a special blend of copper and nickel that gives the coin its strength and its familiar silver-gray appearance. Once prepared, the planchets were fed into powerful coin presses. In a fraction of a second, enormous pressure forced engraved dies onto the metal, stamping the famous Monticello nickel design onto both sides of the coin. On the front side of the coin you will see the well-known portrait of Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson was the third president of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, making him one of the most influential figures in American history. His portrait has appeared on the nickel since 1938, replacing the earlier buffalo design. The Jefferson portrait quickly became one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. Even on a coin described as being in very good condition, the profile of Jefferson can still be clearly identified. The shape of his face, the outline of his hair, and the overall design remain visible despite the gentle wear from circulation. To the right of the portrait appears the word Liberty followed by the year 1976. This inscription connects the coin to the ideals of freedom that have defined the United States since its founding. On the left side of Jefferson's portrait you will see the phrase, "In God we trust." This motto has appeared on American coins for many generations and reflects a long-standing national tradition. Turning the coin over reveals the reverse design that gives the Monticello nickel its name. At the center of the coin stands the historic Monticello estate located in Virginia. Monticello was the home designed and built by Thomas Jefferson himself. Its elegant architecture and historic importance made it a perfect symbol for the reverse side of the 5-cent coin. Even in very good condition, the structure of Monticello can still be recognized on the coin. The building's dome and symmetrical design remain visible, showing the beauty of the original engraving. Above the building appears the word Monticello in bold letters. This inscription identifies the historic landmark that forms the centerpiece of the coin's design. Below the building you will see the words 5 cents, which clearly indicate the denomination of the coin. Beneath that phrase, the words United States of America appear along the lower edge. To the right side of the Monticello building, the small D mint mark confirms that this coin was produced at the Denver Mint. For collectors, this small letter is an important clue about the coin's origin. Coins described as very good condition usually show noticeable signs of circulation. Some of the highest details may appear worn smooth, but the overall design and major features remain visible. These signs of wear tell a story about the coin's journey. Each small mark may represent years of movement through cash registers, wallets, and hands across different towns and cities. Imagine how many places this small nickel may have traveled since 1976. It might have been used in grocery stores, parking meters, buses, or small neighborhood shops. Perhaps it once helped someone buy a snack from a vending machine or pay for a quick phone call at a public telephone decades ago. Coins like this quietly participate in the everyday life of a nation. They pass from person to person without much attention, yet each exchange becomes a small part of their history. Over time, many coins eventually find their way into jars of spare change or into small personal collections where they remain hidden for years. For coin collectors, rediscovering such coins can be exciting. What once seemed ordinary might turn out to be a fascinating collectible piece. The Monticello nickel series is one of the longest-running designs in American coinage. Its connection to Thomas Jefferson and its elegant design have made it a favorite among collectors for generations. Each year within the series holds its own unique place in history. The 1976 nickel represents a time when the United States was celebrating 2 centuries of independence. Collectors often examine these coins closely, searching for unusual features, rare varieties, or special conditions that might make a coin stand out from the rest. The world of coin collecting is filled with surprises because sometimes the smallest and most ordinary-looking coins can become incredibly valuable. A nickel that once passed casually through everyday transactions could later become a treasured item in a collector's collection. Holding a 1976 Monticello 5-cent coin with a D mint mark is like holding a small piece of American history that has traveled through decades of time. And while most people would only see a simple 5-cent coin when they look at it, collectors know that under the right circumstances a remarkable example could reach the incredible value of $45,000.